TGC Requiem here. We are playing Bug, or Saltai Elves, if you'd like, today. Just trying out some interesting concepts about how the format may evolve. The big thing here is we're adding blue for Beck, and in the sideboard for Unified Will. Unified Will might end up being necessary if Damnation or Wrath of God were to become big after the Splinter Twin ban. I think we're just gonna start out here with a forest. So I'm just kind of curious about Beck. I don't know if Beck will actually end up being worthwhile. Certainly can't pull off the same shenanigans you might pull off in a Alright, looks like we got Grixis Delver. Delver. So the best thing we could have happen right now is a creature draw. And get right into Beck. And a Heritage Druid at that. What is the best we can get out of this? When a creature enters the battlefield. So now I'm wondering, could we possibly Chord for Shaman and Shaman for the win? Because it depends on what our opponent does here. So we know he has Mana Leak, but he can't cast Mana Leak now. And if he goes to do anything, which I don't think he really can with... Okay, so we got the win game 1 there. Sideboard. I mean, I don't know that we really want to go for Unified Will and fight that sort of matchup here. Landline of Vitality could be good here. It's really the only card I really want to consider bringing in, other than a Cavern. We can bring a Cavern in. Cut a Forest. Nah, let's keep a Forest just in case they go to the Blood Moon route. I'll just cut a Fetch. Actually, I really don't want to because Pendelhaven could keep a creature alive through Kolaghan's Command. I don't know if they're playing Kolaghan's Command or not. But I think we're going to cut that because we're going to probably bring in some number of Leyline here. And I think 3 sounds right, and probably cutting a core to maybe a Beck since it requires us to get things rolling. This is totally playtesting. We're not doing a league or anything right now. Another key thing, because we are playing more shocks, I have Arbor Elf allowing us to untap our fetches, or our shocks rather. I think we mulligan this, especially on the draw. This is a little better. We have definitely a few different creatures. We gotta go bottom. So we're probably seeing a Delver, maybe a Swift Spear. Serum Visions, alright. And so to make room for the Arbor Elves, we just got 2 Llanowar Elves and 2 Elvish Mystic. Fully expect the elf to die, unfortunately. Tasigur. So that's a nice turn too. pretty easy choice there. Not a whole lot we could do. Now without 2 removal spells, we could Heritage Druid into a bit. Really looking for a land again this turn. No need to block yet. I think we probably cut Azuri right now. So we could back into Arbor Elf. Let's think about this. So if we Heritage Druid, we could Collected Company. So we're definitely going Heritage Druid here. If we were to tap for 3/4, spend the back Arbor Elf, that leaves us 1 floating, and if we hit a 1-drop, we can chain. I don't think that's really what we want to do right here. Turns out we probably would have hit a 1-drop. Well, that's brutal. It's like a weak version of Pyroclasm. Although, so Rough and Tumble, yeah. So the benefit of that, he avoids his flyers. So it looks like we'll lose. This was a good idea to try and bring in the ley lines. I have to plan on bringing the full 4 in. Don't see how we get out of this one. Drops 4. He has to have a bolt. So we're just going to go ahead and concede here. On to game 3 will be on the play. We'll definitely just bring in the 4th ley line here. I don't know that we need Azuri here. I think we're gonna, since we don't have Corden especially, we're gonna pull the Zuri, run with the Bex, just as more ways to try and keep our hand full. Um, so I'm actually a big fan of this. This is exactly the sort of hand I want to play in this sort of matchup. Double ley line puts me immediately out of rough. Puts me at a lightning bolt range for my Nettle Sentinel. So we're out of lightning bolt range. We're out of rough range. Druid's going to put us pretty far out there. Terminate's still going to get us. The other thing is against Grixis decks. Grixis decks don't typically have a way to effectively deal with enchantments or artifacts. Artifacts they're fine. Enchantments they don't have a way to deal with. And so we are good until they can bounce something. We're going to gain so much life over the course of this game. It's going to be hard for them to keep up. So put one on top, one on bottom. Oops. So he's probably trying to get to something fast. Probably looking to get himself into a rough, snap rough. That's not even a 6 mana. So, at the risk of really hurting us to Blood Moon, but based on how he's doing, I think we're fine. Oh, that was silly of me. Oh no, I was okay. So originally I did this so I could get more damage in, but now I am going to have to come up with some way to untap the Nettle Sentinel. All right, so we get the match win there. Um, Again, this was Grixis Delver. So brief chat on what we did. I mean, really not a whole lot of what we did really resulted in anything playing out differently. Beck and Call did do pretty good in game one, but we still haven't gotten into a spot where that is proven to be explosive. It was good for sure, but I do wonder if it might be worth running a lower curve for that card, running more like Essence Wardens. Um, Also, a card I would like to consider running in the deck, and I just can't talk myself into it, is Coiling Oracle, which is kind of like a Elvish Visionary, except if you hit a if you hit a land, the land enters the battlefield. And that would be really good, and I would definitely run it, possibly over Azuri, with a Beck build, because it's just extra card advantage. Um, but my concern with it is the fact that it requires blue, so you can't cast it off of Heritage Druid, which is where I feel like Beck's biggest strength lies, and is in a kind of a broken Heritage Druid sequence. So anyway, also this matchup just didn't seem right for bringing in Unified Will, so maybe we'll get some of that in a later matchup. So this was the first match. Again, we're just kind of doing some play testing, just kind of seeing how a bug build might play out.